Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Rivalz Race Chat. Clinton and Adam here, as we are this week. Didn't think we were going to make it this week, Big Hoss. Big battles after last week's show. We didn't talk all week. We kind of made up today. Are we okay, bro?
I think so. Like I said to you today on the phone, I've enjoyed arguing with you for more than 25 years, but I don't like offending you, right? Like, I'll argue about anything. Let's have some fun, but I shouldn't have made comments that were so personal to you.
I think, I got really fired up. We'll talk about that a little bit after the show. We don't want to waste our first guest time. He's taking time away from his iRacing series, which, man, is important stuff, man. That's awesome shit. So we're going to invite Dave Gainforth on. I think, Dave, welcome to the program. I think it shocked us all a little bit who maybe weren't in the loop. I was a bit stunned to see that that Oscar had parted ways with the United Racing Series, which had kind of, I don't know whether you would say chaperoned it or guided it for the past few years, Dave. And I think with we talked about your health situations a couple of years ago. You had a situation in Florida. And I think the timing was probably perfect for them to help you through from the outside. Where are we now? Where are we going with it? And how did this all come to be with Oscar coming back to your own fold with the hot rods and the modifieds?
Well, first off, is my sound working okay here? Can you hear me
Yeah,
okay?
You're good.
Okay, because I wasn't sure if I needed to push to talk if I do an iRacing or not. Thank you both for having me on. It was great to see you guys and hear from you today. I always like to surprise everybody in the racing world and keep them on their toes. And this, like when we originally made this partnership 3 years ago, it started about a month ago, and I asked Luke if Oscar could operate on its own again. And when we first originally made this deal 3 years ago, I was kind of getting burned out on racing. There were certain things going on in the racing world that I was going to need assistance with, that I thought, with the split of the two divisions going to a home track. And I just needed somebody to help me with the fight, I guess, because the fight had kind of gone out of me at that time. And like you said, the way it worked out, the timing with my health issues and stuff that I had, having Luke and Alex there and all the United Racing people there to back me up while I worked on my health and got better, I couldn't have asked for any more professional help to be there for me and for all the Oscar teams and drivers. But there was always that agreement too when we did it 3 years ago. When I was ready to do it again on my own, we would sit down and talk, and if it worked for everybody, then we'd start out on our own again. And right now, the fight's back in me. I got a second chance at life here. I guess you want to look at it that way. And I want to breathe the life back into Oscar, bringing it back to where it was. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm determined to do it.
Yeah, Dave, it's been great to see you back at the racetrack this season. You're looking well. What are your goals moving forward?
My goals are very simple. It's all car count. Get it built back up again. It's no secret that this summer it was tough on cars. It was tough on car count. I'm hoping now that everybody can be back on the same page in the same group, that I can get everybody back on the same page in the same group. It's going to take some doing, but I'm dedicated to do it, and I want to do it for the race fans. I want to build these two divisions back up.
Oh, I think it's...
Sorry, Dave. I'm just a bit under the weather, so I'm trying to keep my cough button on while I'm hacking over here.
That's okay.
Dave, let's talk about how do you get car count back up from one promoter to another? What is the mission there? Is it, there's lots of avenues you can try and get, but with the economy the way it is, how do you get guys to participate in all these events?
It's not easy, and our economy is fighting me every day here on this. People's lives at home are so much more expensive. It's more expensive for teams to travel to the tracks each and every week with gas and tires and all that kind of stuff. But you start off slow. If I can get 2 or 3 more cars in each division this year to travel, and then next year I get 2 or 3 more, I'm not expecting to get 10 or 15 all of a sudden. I got to take baby steps. I'm going to look at some cost-saving measures for the guys, whether it's parts on the cars or the number of races we run or the geography that we do it in or all that kind of stuff. There's ways to do it, and I built the hot rods during COVID, the most difficult time that racing faced there for 2 years. So I think, I don't know, maybe I'm crazy, but I think I can do it again.
Well, they can both be true, Dave. I think you probably are crazy, but I also think that you can do it again. So we've seen divisions that you have run get added to home tracks, and it doesn't generally work out great for the home track that sort of pulls the division apart, whether it's super late models, hot rods, or modifieds. What is it about the way you run things that seems to grow car counts?
I don't think I have a big secret or anything like that. I don't do anything special. I just try to make all the guys feel special. I try to make them want to come to the racetrack. I'm talking to them during the week, asking them if they can come, if they've had problems, what can I do to help them solve those problems, on their cars, find them parts and stuff like that. I try to create a really fun atmosphere at the races. Sometimes it does get pretty serious, and that's just part of the game. But I do want to bring the fun back into it, and that's just I want guys to wake up on Saturday morning and say, "I'm looking forward to going to the racetrack and racing my hot rod or my modified this year." And I'm hoping that now that the group is back together, that I don't have another promoter come in and try to split it again, because nobody wins when that stuff happens. And hopefully everybody's learned from that lesson. I thought we learned from the lesson the first time it happened to the supers. We obviously had to go through it again with the modifieds and the hot rods. But I'm hoping this time everybody stays on the same page. Promoters all work together, and we can make it happen for everybody.
Dave, last question I got, because I know you got to get on your iRacing. What does a perfect OSCAR schedule look like? How many races are you hoping to get for both of the series?
For this year, we lowered the series for both divisions down. I think the modifieds at 8 races this year. The last 2 specials were not points races. That's something we're going to have to discuss in the off season. The promoters want me to review that, of course, because they feel that affected car count. So that's something I'm going to have to sit down and talk to the guys about, talk to the promoters. The hot rods, they were at roughly 9 races, I think, this year. And again, the last 2 races were not points races. I think the magic number, is 10 or less. Because time you get a couple, it's going to rain sometime during the summer. It's inevitable. So if you get that, knocks it down to 8 or 9 races. I think that's a pretty good number, especially for the modifieds who, the tires and stuff for them on a weekly basis is definitely more expensive for them. It's another expense. So I think we had this year is pretty close, to be honest with you.
Dave, we appreciate you taking this time out. My last question, where's the race tonight? What are you racing and where?
It's a truck race at the new Atlanta Speedway. And I'm hoping for an early caution, because I don't know if you can hear it, but I can still hear it in my headset. They just took the green flag, actually. But
well, get going, buddy. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me on, guys. And I do apologize for rushing through. If you do have any more questions, please just pick up the phone and call me, email me. I'll be glad to come back on anytime and explain what's going on in OSCAR, because my hashtag is we're back, and I'm going to make sure I got a second life, and so is OSCAR. So that's the way I look at it.
We will take you up on that offer. Thanks, Dave.
Perfect. Thanks, guys.
Good luck, Dave, in your race tonight. Adam Oscar's been under attack a couple times. The super late models were under attack. They tried to split it up a couple times, but it's good to see Dave with a second lease on life himself. And some of their social media has been great. We shared some stuff today between ourselves. We wish we could show it, but we don't have the rights to it, so we can't do that. But it was great.
It is. And again, racetrack promoters have to do what they have to do. I mean, the job is to put people in the seats, but it just didn't seem to work as well. But at the same time, what did it do for us at Peterborough? We had Stompin' Tom Walters and Hahn, and who else did we have out there? Mark Gordon. Like, I don't know, maybe if it was just traveling, those guys don't wind up with cars. Maybe they do. Either way, everything for a reason, but I do love the hot rods.
Yeah, I think just the look of the cars are so cool. From the time they came in, they're the one division that does do both classes, both dirt and pavement. They have some good events down at Brighton. So hopefully it all goes over for Dave and Oscar, and they work that out. Dave's going to put all his effort into it. It's kind of been his baby for a while. So for at least the last 10 years, I mean, Dave hired me when I left America. And that had to be 10 years ago now. So
I've seen the pictures. It looks like at least 10 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Did I send you that,
black.
Scott? Black hair, but you interviewing, I think, Fitzpatrick.
No.
Popped up on my feed.
I'm sure. A lot different back then. Charlie Sandercock's going to join us. Dan Bailey's going to join us. I don't know. We get back to our fight. Anyways, we patched it up because I was pissed off all week. I was mad. I drove 95 miles an hour all the way to Talladega. Listened to breakup songs so we could break up.
Sorry,
I was going to come back and ask our 20. She was scared. Our 20 our 300th show is going to be on December 23rd, and I was going to ask if for Christmas we could give each other the end of the show. Just do 300 and then pack it in. And then
let's do it from the boxing ring.
What? From a boxing ring?
Yeah, let's do our 300 show in a boxing ring.
You want to take me on for real once?
No, it'd be like a slapping competition or something, but I'm not going to fight you. You're from East Hamilton.
There's no way I'm getting a slapping competition you with those paddles. Give me a break, man. I'm not getting an oar upside the head, so you can forget on that. But anyways, I love you, bro. We patched it up. We talked about our differences. You understand why I was upset. I probably should have filled you in a bit more. But here we are nonetheless. We'll keep going. Go ahead.
We joked about it today. For what we do, there's got to be some friction. But we really need to have fun with what we've done. Because you've got a story to tell from Talladega. The number of people that watch this little show that we do, Clinton, and we've had some pretty cool opportunities to do some pretty cool jobs in racing, almost coast to coast. And this is what we want to do. Like we want to be who we are for our people, which is Southern Ontario and the racing that goes on around here. And we're gonna find a way to love it again if it kills us.
Yeah, we've been trying to quit for 200 shows, and here we are. So let's get on with Charlie Sandercock. We don't want to waste anybody's time. Charlie spent some time at the Dirt Track World Championships down at Eldora. Charlie racing 2 classes, as we understand. How's that deal come together? How crazy of a weekend is that? And tell us how your weekend went.
Hi, guys. Thanks for having me. The weekend come real quick because we come off of a doubleheader weekend up at Buxton Speedway with the late model and the modified up there. We come home to Thanksgiving weekend. We had family and friends things to do, and then we had a quick turnaround with race cars, get them all serviced and ready to go, making sure going to Eldora, wanted everything to be good and top notch, new body on the late model. and then just getting everything ready to go to hit the road on Wednesday night. So it was a very short, quick, busy week, and it was good efforts on all of our crew and everyone getting everything ready to go to hit the road.
Charlie, did I read that was your first time racing at Eldora?
That was my first time racing outdoor, and even first time putting foot on the property. I've never even watched a race there. I've I know all the hype of the place from conversations and watching racing and all that jazz. But then, yeah, we drove through all the back roads and the farmers' fields, and next thing you know, it's the Taj Mahal of racetracks of Eldora Speedway is right there, and it definitely did disappoint.
Talk about the racing surface itself. Like, is it attention getting how fast it is?
It definitely, from what you see on TV, it is totally different from what I kind of expected. I expected, well, it was big, wide and fast, and definitely was that. But when you're watching on TV, you don't notice the banking, how much actually in there. I take a big racetrack, and then you put all the banking in it, and then the way it kind of swoops through the corners and is definitely speed, fast, amazing facility. It's just you try to when you go to new racetracks, you don't know what to expect. There, you kind of with the hype of it and knowing that it's Eldora Speedway, you have big expectations and I guess big hype, and you walk in the gates of that place, and then it's all of that and more.
Clinton, you're muted again, buddy.
Sorry, guys. I got to watch that. Sorry, Charlie, when you pull into the Northeast, you're pretty much a contender at anywhere you pull in. You got a shot to win. What expectation do you have pulling into Eldora on a deal like that where you've never been there, you've never seen the place? I know you had to come through the B. Is that kind of a win for you?
Definitely, wherever we go, we like to obviously go in with the mindset that we can do this, we can win, we can make the show. We went there with the modified and the late model, knowing the task at hand, um, knowing who I'm racing against, and was winning on my expectations? No. Would it? Is it always on kind of in the back of your mind? Yeah, I don't think anyone goes to the racetrack to not want to win, but with knowing the competition is there, our goal was like if we can qualify for both races, then that would be amazing. I think we had a car to qualify for the modifieds. Unfortunately, our night ended up upside down from where we wanted it, but what just with 74 cars on hand with the steel blocks, we had a big mountain to climb, never being there, still kind of getting used to the steel block open motor stuff. We were really hoping we can make it, and we were lucky enough that we were able to grab the last qualifying spot.
That's pretty cool, actually. I love the desperation of a B main. How does it feel to compete in a B main, Charlie? The last spot, obviously, you couldn't have messed up once, or you would have lost it.
Yeah, definitely. And we've been in the B main situations a couple of times with the Rush Late Model Series at Eldora or Lernerville Speedway, and just the if you can qualify through the heat, we all know it's like that takes a lot of you can breathe. It takes a lot of stress load off. But when you line up in a B main, it's like, all right, well, I got to finish here now. If I don't finish in the spot or better, then I'm going home. I'm done. So like Friday night when we were running the B main, it was we got out to I think we had a 5 lap run where I felt comfortable. I was in a groove. I never saw another nose or anything, so I was comfortable there. Well, then all of a sudden the caution was out. But, now we're bunched. Did we have a lead? Is my line good? How is this restart gonna go? And we know that Eldora restarts stretch. They will throw sliders or up their line. You never know. And then we had a restart, and there's a nose beside. Oh, I didn't do the right. Didn't pick the right line. I didn't do it right, and then not racing there. You kind of still trying to figure it out. It becomes pretty stressful, and another. I think we had 2 or 3 restarts right there in a row. It's like, okay, we can do this. Like every lap, if there was another nose or another car, and it's like just hold on and do what you got to do. And we were lucky enough to be able to hold on for that for.
Right on, Charlie. We appreciate you getting in. Just quickly, what's your next event? Are you going to Florida this year, or where do you see yourself racing next?
Our 2025 season has come to an end. That was our finishing weekend was Eldora. I think we finished out on a pretty good note for the last couple of weekends racing. Our next event, we are scheduled to head back down to Florida in January, February for Speed Weeks Evolution. So that'll be our next.
That's awesome, man.
Right
Thanks
on.
so much, Charlie. Always fun to talk to you.
All right, thank you very much.
Charlie Sandercock, everybody. Probably the most dominant late model driver that we've had in our era, right, Adam? Like I don't ever see Charlie roll into a place where he isn't. He's won most of the late model races I've called around here in the past 10 years, anyways. If he was in them,
and that's wild to me because he comes from Brighton Speedway, and he can go anywhere. Brighton is a very specific kind of track. It's tight, it's tough, hard. Really got to get woed down into the corners. But he'd come to Ashwegan and do just as well. He'd go to Humberstone. It doesn't matter where he goes. He's just good.
For sure. Let's switch up gears a little bit. We're going to talk about the LS motor package that has been introduced by the SOS in a little bit. But before we get to that, let's talk about something that I went to bed early last night because I come back from Talladega with the flu, and not the booze flu. Yes, we had some beers, but I'm got the legit flu on the drive home. Let's talk about I went to bed early last night. We filmed Nikki's show, Give Me the Dirt, with Natalie Williamson, Matt Williamson's wife. And I woke up to great comments, great reviews, and this is one that I can't wait to see. It's going to air tomorrow, and then 2 weeks from now, we'll also have Bailey Stoddy on, Josh Stoddy's wife. So the next few things, and then we're working on Julia Fiore, who is Dylan Westbrook's fiance. So we have some great guests coming up on Give Me the Dirt. We're going to look at a clip now. This airs tomorrow at 8 p.m. here on G-Force TV. This is Nikki show Give Me the Dirt, and this is a clip of her talking with Natalie Williamson last night. It's going to air tomorrow at 8 p.m. Roll it, Spencer.
Like, do you, when you guys are at the track together, I know now maybe things have changed a little bit with Brenna, but do you guys have any superstitions or like rituals?
Yeah, you can't wear green.
Okay.
No green. And like if I dress Brenna.
Yeah, if we can't see the video, Spencer, we just get rid of it. That's a bummer.
We
right,
might
so
take another swing at that a little later in the show. Same thing, Clinton. So G-Force is kind of our baby. Spencer, you, me, Greg, Calvin. To bring in Nikki to do her show, it's important for us to stay out of her way. Of course, Spencer produces it. You know me. I don't like to. I know you've seen some of the list of questions and you sort of screen this and that, but it's important for us to not be there when the show is recorded. We don't want to make them nervous, even if it's just being on a screen together. So we have to wait. Like, it's the only thing we've ever done where we have to wait till it's over and be like, hey, how'd it go? You don't even, because they'll come on and start making comments. But right away, Spencer comments. He says, I think this one's going to be really, really good.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear what Natalie's going through, especially with the season Matt's been having. It's been really good. Okay, let's jump into the LS package. Did I even screenshot to you today, Spencer? SOS put out today. I don't think I did. SOS put out today that they were going to be allowing. I should actually pull it up and read it here. In other news, while I'm looking for that, ESS did tire tests after Fulton and everything came back. Trenka's tires and Chase Moran all met the benchmark, so it's good on ESS for keeping the tire testing going and making sure that everybody's on the up and up. Here it is from the SOS today. Peter Turfer put it on. I actually got to put on my glasses to read it. It says, in an effort to make 360 sprint car racing in Southern Ontario more affordable, the Southern Ontario Sprints will be allowing a spec GM LS3 engine for the 2026 racing season. The engine will feature an aluminum block and heads based on current pricing. Will have an out-the-door maximum cost of 26,000 Canadian. It's not meant to obsolete or replace the current 360 engine program already in place, but it is to allow lower cost alternative for teams to compete at the 360 level. Target for the engine will be 640 horsepower, while that's shy of the current 700 plus horsepower engines. It's expected the LS engine's 75-pound weight advantage will offset most of the other power differential. The engine will utilize aftermarket components in several areas, but will use an aluminum block and similar heads as supplied from GM. To ease the transition, any interested 602 sprint car teams, the engine has been designed to use the same Holley carburetor and fuel pump as used in the crate division. Prototype has been built by DSE, and Jamie Turner ran it a bit at the end of the year. The three leading sprint car engine builders in Ontario are involved in the rules packages, includes DSE, Leach Performance, and Klotz. Since the project's beginning, we've kept in touch with Last Week in Speedway Management, me, and made them aware that the engine's development. In return, we have agreed to, on the Schweiken side, we'll allow it to compete in the 360 sprint car events with Brighton Speedway on board as well. So this basically is a $25,000 package. So if you're a budget team who doesn't really plan on traveling to a ton of other races and you're just an Oshweekend homer or only want to stick around the SOS in Ontario, you'll be able to run this engine at a $25,000 price point to get involved. It is the new age of engines. We've been stuck on the old style of motors forever, Adam. So this is kind of a new situation here. Where was it? Where did I see it? It was the angle. We've been stuck on the old style 23-degree wedge heads, and this is a new modern style engine. So, do you have any thoughts on this package they're trying to bring up?
No, I think it's great to have that option. I hope it's reliable horsepower that they're building, because I think if you want to sacrifice a little bit of horsepower for cost, hopefully it holds together. That's the nice thing. I remember racing 20 years ago, 25 years ago, especially with the racing I did in the hobby cars. You're blowing an engine at night. But when those engines blew, there's oil all over the track, 6 cars pile into the wall. There was a lot of blown motors back in the day compared to what we have now. It still happens, but it's a lot more rare these days than it used to be.
Spencer, I just sent you the picture now. Can you show that? We'll keep talking here for a minute. I sent it to the dump account. It's the picture of the LS motor with the carburetor on top, as Jamie Turner had been running it for the last race or two. So a bit of a different, if I understand it correctly, there's no distributor in this. It's a coil on plug situation. These are what are in majority of, I shouldn't say majority, all the modern trucks. This is what the new modern Chevrolet engine is looking like and based on. So the thought process is you can pick up a lot of these parts, cores, you can get the blocks, you can get the heads. It comes from GM with a very stout head package already. So depending on the add-ons, you can get it up to 650 on methanol, and that's the goal here to make it work. So hopefully it works out for Peter. And I can tell you from the Thunderstock side, that's good, Spencer, you take that. From the Thunderstock side, this was betted around. We actually balked at it last year. We had 2 drivers ready to make the move. There's a big push with crate engines being, close to $10,000 now, if not north of that, to get junkyard engines back in the mix, where you can home build a motor, where you can go to Plaza God Recyclers and trade him for a logo on the side of your car to get a core or a block or whatever you have to do. And I was having this talk with Don Spees because he's pushing heavily for this to figure it out with the Thunderstocks, and I think you're going to see at least us and Merrittville from the Oshweekend and Merrittville side work on trying to get an LS engine package into the Thunderstocks. And we talked about how it would be managed, Adam. For the time being, the driver race in this car, at least in the Thunderstocks, would not be gaining points. They'd be pulled out of the finish until we can figure out how it works. I think it's the only fair way to let it race, really. But if it wins the race, if they actually don't win the race, we'll let them get their victory lane picture. But the idea is to get some top-notch drivers behind the wheels of these cars and see what these motors can really do, and try and get it down to where you can build your motor yourself again. Because this industry was at its healthiest when you could get everything at the junkyard. And I shouldn't say that, at the auto recyclers would be a better way to put it.
Yep. No, it's exciting to see what can come of this, for sure.
All right, before we jump into Dan Bailey, we're told the clip is fixed with Natalie for Nikki's Give Me the Dirt show for tomorrow night. Let's roll that before we jump in with Dan Bailey.
Like, do you, when you guys are at the track together, I know now maybe things have changed a little bit with Brenna, but do you guys have any superstitions or like rituals?
Yeah, don't. You can't wear green.
Okay.
No green. And like if I dress Brenna in green, like it's not a good thing. So get her out of the green.
We just don't own green in our house, period.
Yeah, I'm wearing a green sweater.
Not race day.
It's fine. But yeah, the big thing is the green. He recently bought a new race bag, so he brings like a duffel bag with him to pack all of his shit in because he's racing for a million teams. And it had like a green zipper lining to it, and I was like, "Oh, Matt, like you got to get rid of it. Like you got to trade it in. You got to return it. You got to get a new one. Like you can't have green. What are you doing?" That bag is still around, so I guess maybe the superstition isn't true. I don't really know, but
I mean, not based on the last 6 weeks. When did that bag come into play?
It came in the beginning of the summer, so yeah. No, I think we're good.
Yeah, we're over the green now.
Yeah, but I mean, I still have like that in my head, like, okay, I can't wear this outfit today because it's got green in it. Okay.
I'm excited. I can't wait to see it tomorrow, 8 p.m. here on the channel. It'll come up, and make sure you check it out. Matt has had an unbelievable season. We had him on last week, but man, he swept Brockville, he swept Dirt Week, he swept Outlaw. Like, man, he is on fire right now. So we couldn't have a more timely guest than Natalie, or as I think we might be. I think it came out here, Money Nat. You know, we'll see how that goes. But let's jump in with Dan Bailey, who's going to join us now to talk about a program that he's trying to give back to the community here. Dan, you have an under-16 program here. Spencer, show the flyer. And Dan, welcome to the show. Tell us what we need to know about your under-16 program for young racers.
Well, young racers are the lifeblood of our sport for sure. And safety equipment to us is utmost importance for sure. And I find a lot of the young racers are running substandard safety equipment just because of the cost. You know, it's challenging to put your 11-year-old into an $800 or $900 suit when you can buy one off the shelf for $150. But the $150 suit might be too long, too short, too tight, too big here and there. And, you know, discomfort and uncomfortable driving isn't safe driving either. You can't perform at your best when you're uncomfortable, you're adjusting your arms all the time, you're doing whatever it takes. We'd like to see those kids into a custom suit. It doesn't have to be fully emblazoned if they don't want it to be, but it can be. But a custom fit, a good quality gray suit is our goal. And as I say, the young blood is the future of our sport. And we want to help that out. So we're going to give 50% off any racer that is 16 years or younger. And it's simple as that. You know, it doesn't matter if they're running a go-kart, they're running a late model, a dirt modified, a sprint car, a legend. It doesn't matter to us.
No, Dan, that's really cool. Do you have any way to measure your market share here in Ontario?
Not specifically. Our market share is solid in the series that we focus on for sure. The APC series, I would say, probably has our strongest market share. You know, any given night, I would say we have 85% of the drivers wearing our uniforms, which is incredible. We go to Us Weekend, you know, where we support the track as well, and we have a noticeable impact there. Delaware, we see, you know, 25, 35, 45% of the drivers wearing our stuff. So our market share is significant, but it's fun. It's all in good.
No, for sure. And that's what I was getting at. How has that grown, say, over the last, well, when did you start Epic Racewear?
2013, we started toying with it. We started playing. I would say 2016 is when we started really working with things. I would think that's basically when we started getting involved with Us Weekend. I remember having lunch with Greg Kellnan, and he said, "Hey, we've got this great idea. We have this program that works. It's going to cost you, 5 figures and it'll be fantastic. And I thought, oh my gosh, 5 figures, I'm going to go broke overnight here. But it was probably one of the greatest relationships we had ever developed. It's certainly the longest lasting relationship so far. Well, if I say 2016, we're easily 10 years, but I think it was probably 2014. We're probably 12 years now.
Yeah, I remember you were delivered to me by Greg when I became manager, and that's how we met, Dan. So that was just my 10th year managing, so we've definitely been a decade. Dan, I've hung out with you. We shared a house in Florida in the past. I know how much the business in the States has taken off here. That's super exciting. But what I want to get into now is, you got some great feedback, and the Christies sent you a card, and they sent us a card at the end of the year, which is kind of cool. You wanted to get this out today. Why did this message and why did this kind of thank you card mean a lot to you?
Well, the thank you card was incredible. We don't get handwritten thank you cards any longer. DJ asked if I could pull him a solid. It wasn't anything that was out of the realm of things. I said, well, I'm going to have to do something pretty special to make it happen, but we made it happen. And with the thank you card, I got a plate full of 6 pastries that were just I think we were finished those before the card got read, to be honest. But it was fantastic, and I just thought, that homegrown personal touch goes a long way. You get the quick email, which is fantastic. Any thank you is fantastic. Unfortunately, all too often in today's racing world, it's the other side of the coin that we see and that we deal with every day. And that was something I wanted to kind of air a little bit. This past week, I saw a lot of reaction to negative talk about racing. And we're like hockey parents in the fact that we're the worst ambassadors for our own sport. We have so much passion, so much love. We put all of our money, all of our time, we put our relationships on the side. We do anything we can to get to the racetrack, and then we trash talk. And, we're trying to focus on the young racers. And I think, how is a interested family on the outside going to the racetrack and seeing this fantastic event and then hearing the negative nonsense that goes on with it? I don't think that we mean to injure our sport by airing our passions, but we sure do. We want the passion. Passion is good. Passion creates competition, creates even rivalries, and animosity and love for the sport is all something we need, but we need to bridle that passion into a direction that's going to benefit the sport and not hurt the sport. And everybody's buddy Dave Moody says, hey, we all know what the problem is. What's the solution? And it's difficult, right? What is the solution? I don't know. I remember years ago speaking with Tony Spiteri and then recently with our buddy Junior Farley, and he said, what if we put together a consortium where we have sponsors, where we have promoters, where we have track owners, where we have racer representation, and kind of have a headbanging session once a month or something, where we can air that all out in a private forum, where the problems are on the table, but they're not out there for the unknown and the generic fans to see. When there's heat in the kitchen, the only one that needs to worry about that is the damn chef. We can't let everybody else be worried about the problems. They come to the racetrack to see the show. Let's put on a good show and at least smile and say how much we love the sport all the time. And when I'm pissed off and I'm angry about it, I need to go directly to the person that I'm upset and angry about it with and speak to them directly, face to face, not this social media, blow it out of proportion. My brother and I always say there are a lot of racers today that didn't grow up in the era of a punch in the face. Sure. Sometimes our mouths need to be shut by 5 knuckles. and that's not something that we necessarily want to see on the track all the time either. But if you knew that your actions were going to have actual consequence, you might think twice about it, you know.
Well,
We
let me point this out, Dan, and this will affect you more than anybody, but it's not very often the driver on social media that's keep fanning the flames, but it might be the person who's buying their fire suit. So in our case, we talk about the drivers. You've got to be a little bit careful because you have to watch all of them because different people sign the checks and give you their credit card. But that's what I noticed. Drivers generally deal with things just the way you say, not necessarily with punching somebody, but they will deal with things directly and then leave the track and it's over, or maybe another conversation is due next week. But unless you're from Quebec, they don't very often relive it constantly through the week on social media.
Yeah, and that's solid and that's good. I just, maybe some way, somehow, we need to be able to communicate our frustrations in a positive manner that doesn't publicly, harm our sport. I look at, I don't know if you guys were aware of the 2-Speed Nationals. It's something that Epic Raceware and 2-Speed puts together each year. It's the second year in a row, but this year it was an event that was held at Sunset Speedway for the bone stock class. And the winner of the race ended up taking home a $3,000 payout. That's pretty solid for a bone stock invitational for sure. Now, it was painstaking to put that together. Joe Chisholm, it's his brainchild for sure, and what we do, Corey and I get together, we buy and produce the hats, and there's no cost to the event for that. And then we sell the hats. Everybody sells the hats. So it's like a crowdfunding. The racers buy their own hats, but before they do that, a lot of the times they vote on where it's going to be, which class it's going to be, blah, 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 blah. So they raise the money. They chose who it was going to be, where it was going to be. And nothing but complaints all the way through, all the way leading up to it, all the way leading after and as a sponsor, we don't have to do this stuff. We don't have to try and promote the sport. We want to promote the sport because that brings revenue through the door, absolutely. But we don't have to create these special events and give away money and time to not be appreciated. And that's not me griping. That's just me saying, let's get rid of this negativity some way, somehow. We've got to do something about it, and I don't know what that is exactly.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I put a lot of these complaints on social media square on the promoters. You're slitting your own throats by not getting this stuff, getting out in front of it. I don't want to toot our own horn, but how much negativity do you hear about Osh Weekend? It's because we really work to breed the culture of, hey, let's pull on this rope together. And for my very first keynote speech as manager, I told them if we all stick together and don't burn this down, we'll get the TV coverage. We can build this back up. And I really feel that's way. And then the analogy I like to use is, look, we're all in the family backyard. We have a family reunion every Friday. You may not love your brother or your cousin, but you're the first to pull them out of the fire if they're on it. So there's all ways we can work about it. Dan, I don't want to keep you too much longer, but we appreciate what you got to say. Once again, how can people get a hold of you if they want to take a part in this deal?
Simple email, either info@epicraceware.ca, dan@epicraceware.ca, or just go on the website. It's posted up there. Come visit us at PRI if you're in the area. It'll be a good show this year too.
Right on. Thanks, Dan, for joining us.
All right. Thanks, man.
Talk to Dan Bailey shortly. Of course, obviously huge supporters and the official apparel supplier of all our G-Force uniforms, and always keeping our crew looking good, sharp, and tight. Thanks, Dan, for everything you do. We really appreciate it. Even got us some koozies this summer. We're a big hit down in Talladega. Let's just touch up on a couple other things. We can clear the board out, and then you and I can BS till the end of the show. Hoosier vouchers, that was our big battle last week. I don't want to rehash it, but I did hear from Erica after the program. They're still planning on putting the input back in that wasn't claimed. So we'll work that out for the banquet, and we want to appreciate Hoosier for coming on to be a great partner and making sure the racers don't lose, even though they didn't take part in the program that we put together. And again, it's not a dig at them. I'm not trying to rehash it again, but we'll make sure that money doesn't get left on the table courtesy of Hoosier, and we appreciate Erica and her team here with Hoosier Tire Canada coming out to make sure the racers don't lose, as they've been fighting for us through the tariff battles and everything throughout the year. Let's talk Talladega. I got a chance to go to Talladega, Adam, on the weekend. Dean and Debbie are great hosts. They're friends of ours. And they just have people they've met from all over the NASCAR circuit, and they have a great group. Let's look at some of the pictures I brought back, Spencer. We'll just run through some of the fun stuff we have, and then we got some more photos to talk about. This is our campsite, Adam, so you're tight in there, but we are right. This is looking back in, so that's the main grandstand behind us there, which was super cool, and Dean's got all the toys. And if you flip around the other way, Spencer, show me the next picture if you can, if you've got them actually in order. We were right in front of the big screen. So, you can sit in your lawn chair there and watch them qualify on the big screen right from our campsite, which was super cool. Just run through the picture, Spencer. I'll tell you when to stop when we need to. Oh, yeah, so there we are, Dean and I, my host. So big screen right there. You can sit on sit in the campsite, just watch the races. Just keep flipping, Spence. I'll tell you when to stop if we need to. Obviously, right down on pit road. Amazing access. I got to thank NASCAR Canada for hooking me up with the tickets. It's just cool to be right there in the middle of it all as it's all going on. Talladega does a great job. This is from the infield restaurant bar. You can get this close to the cars, which is absolutely amazing. I'm just behind the fence there taking pictures, and it's so cool to get close. The garages are literally down both sides of the restaurant, and you can watch the teams work on them day and night. It's super slick at Talladega. If you've never been in the infield, and they're all right there. It's so amazing. What else we got? So then you get to Talladega Boulevard. The nightlife there is unmatched. I met the Jack Link Sasquatch cruising around Talladega Boulevard in the afternoon. We took a drive. And, this is one thing. So down there, everybody's got their own little campsite on the boulevard. And these guys from Red 38, they are making pork rinds and food right there. They have a bar set up. They got a DJ going. So we're drinking a beer at their little setup bar, and I look, and they're all got Epic Racewear shirts on, which was super cool. I'm like, hey, I know those guys. So it was just cool. Dan is making some reach down in the States too. Keep rolling, Spence. So they're just every campsite for a mile long. I just roll through these, Spencer. I just set up. Everybody's got their own setup. Could be couches, so much like Dirt Week had them back in the day. But everybody's got, They got bands, they got bars, they got everything you could ever imagine. And this is just driving down there about 6 o'clock after the races. Everybody, there's some wild stuff going on there. But yeah, it's just party scene after party scene. There's a different party every 20 feet. There's probably 30 different artists playing, different setups. This is the Red 38 setup, so they got a DJ in there, a full setup. And this is the wild thing, Adam. There's no legal businesses there. So these are all bars you walk up, and for a donation, they serve you drinks. So you want a margarita? Make a donation. You want a beer? Make a donation. And there's just every site has a band on it. It's such a crazy setup. It was such a good time. I don't know how many more we got, Spencer, but yeah, what a wild deal. Always a good time there. And no doubt that's why I'm sick, in a crowd with that many people. But I got to live my life, right?
No, for sure. I bet you it's been almost 10 years since I've been to a Cup race. I'm limited in my Cup experience.
Yeah, it was exciting. Talladega is a great place. You ever been? And hot, oh my goodness, man. It was like 29 degrees or 83, as Zach Kaiser wrote on my Facebook, in Freedom units. Hot and muggy, which was...
it's about how hot the trailer was in Peterborough.
Whew. Oh, yeah. Trent gets in there and cranks up the heat. The kids. So, let's look at some other photos that got sent to the photo drop, Spencer. I don't know what else we got in there. Let's look at... I'm sure I sent them. Okay, how about this? Daytona International put out their voting today. I think this is a kind of cool social media thing. You get to vote for the infield grass pattern for the Daytona 500. I've got 3 options. You can give the oh my goodness face for one, love one, or thumbs up the other. I thought that was a cool little social media
Yeah.
gimmick they got
Good
going on. Daytona.
engagement. Good engagement.
Definitely. What else, Spence? Oh, this just came out. Sprint car 2025 410 wing sprint car money list. Buddy Kofoid, 802,000. Rick Weber. I would have thought gravel would have been at the top, but I guess Kofoid won a couple more of the bigger paying races and has able to cap it out there. But
Did you
even
happen
still
to
back
check
at 30th
out?
place.
Did you happen to check out High Limit? Was it at Lucas Oil? Connor was saying he watched it and there was just no crowd. He's like, oh, it'll probably show up as the beats come on. But
I saw a bitch about that, Chaz. I saw him making a big stink about how there were so many fans around there and they couldn't draw anybody to come out for it. Yeah, I didn't see it myself, but I did hear fan count was down.
It's a tough thing. You have to keep the hype, right?
Yeah.
The World of Outlaws are the World of Outlaws. They draw people when they show up. You have to keep that hype machine going.
And Brad Sweet now retiring, that can't be good for the High Limit. That's one of their biggest stars.
Yeah.
I'm worried about High Limit now because without Sweet, like he was one of the biggest draws. Him and Rico, and Kyle. When you get him, but you get Kyle sprinkled on like sprinkles on a cupcake. You're never guaranteed that. If he shows up, it makes it better, but you can't bite on that being your dessert. You got to go without the Larson deal. But answer a few questions here. Sean, can we set up a bar in the Ashwegan campground? I don't think anybody's ever said anything about drinking in the
Ashwegan campground is a bar.
Yeah, sure. Donations only. Let me know what you got to sell. We'll come by and donate. How long is the drive? It's about 16 hours, 15 hours, depending on which way you go.
Depends
how fast you want to roll.
Depends how angry he is.
Yeah, Adam got me there in 13.5. No, it is a haul though. We're obviously working on all our big events still for next year. We'll have some news on some of that coming up, hopefully soon.
I'm looking forward to seeing all the schedules come out because I think there's going to be some new shape to some of them. NASCAR Canada is right up in the air. I know that's a little personal to me. I'm always curious. But it'll be fun to see. Talk about big events that happen this year. I still say the midweek race at Flamborough, probably one of my top 5 events, just for the buzz in the pits alone.
Yeah, back home, I'm hearing big changes at Ashwegan. It's got me worried. Lots of construction going on. I got a meeting with Glenn hopefully Thursday to get some answers myself. But they're talking about major construction changes up there. Not just about the tower, Adam. Talking about maybe moving the pit booth and the pit entrance. And I'm hearing all kinds of wild stuff, so I got to get it from the horse's mouth myself. Buxton. Just talk about Buxton for a second. Man, they've had some troubles. I know they got everybody wired up about a whole bunch of stuff. Obviously, they're still trying to find out who caused the fire. And,
and rightfully
try to get
so.
Will on the show today.
Right, there's some chaos going on now. Yep. But you can't hold some things against the track, and not that you did, but that's some heavy shit going on.
Yeah, you and I were on a call today. We tried to call Will to see if he wanted to come on and talk about some of the stuff they've got going on and how they get through the challenges they're facing. Hopefully it works out. Robbie said it's already different. I saw they took down a bunch of fencing and stuff at the Speedway today. So all for the better. All for the better.
Are they going to make the front stretch the back stretch and the back stretch the front stretch?
Oh, don't even start doing that stuff because Glenn's wanted to do that for a long time.
Because that's where the start-finish line should go?
I'll make you a deal.
So you don't blind your announcers? If
Glenn makes the front stretch the back stretch and does the, like I think the Atlanta did that, they flipped the track, I'll put you in I'll hand paint you a start-finish line every week until I'm no longer there. If we do that, you'll finally get your wish. No, you know
I
what
don't
my
want
plan
your
is?
hand.
My plan is to put Glenn up in the tower on Thursday and give him Boothquake 2025 experience, and we'll have what we need over there in no time. But yeah, we were
Yeah.
talking about all kinds of cool stuff. Things are always in flux each weekend for the better. We appreciate Glenn Stiers and what he does to keep building things better, and keep it rolling. But we got a couple more pictures to get through, and then we'll be done here on the show. Let's talk about Norm Benning. His truck caught fire on Friday during the race. He got out, had to be treated. We happened to be walking through the pits and caught it there, burnt up. Look at that thing, man. It was pretty wild. A lot of flames out of that thing. Melted the whole back tail of it. He inhaled some fire extinguisher and bailed out of the truck. Good to see Norm Benning's okay. Planning to be back at Martinsville this week.
And Norm
Let me
is
get
in
to
his
the doc-
70s.
Oh yeah. A lot of Ontario guys actually end up crewing for him. I think the Toltons and that have gone down and helped him out a few times. So
Mhm.
I don't know. How about the Dr. Seuss book, If I Ran the Racetrack, by everybody on the internet? This is kind of what all us promoters go through. Everybody knows how to get it done better than us, right? I think we need to actually get this book made more than just a cover, because it could be a good one to read. How about Kyle Steckley in the NASCAR game? That is super freaking cool. So if you get a chance to check that out in NASCAR, I think it's 2025. It's Kyle Steckley in the ARCA series, which is badass.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Yeah, Phoenix did it. Sorry. Well, where do we go from here, bud? That's it.
Hey, I want to thank Anthony Dortono for making the drive down to Stony Creek this afternoon. We did an interview together, and I love that. I love that there's people going to that effort to try something different. Anthony's been around the racetrack for a long time, so he's putting his passion to use. It was good to see him and Jared down at my place today, and they took home a great big Hoosier right rear tire.
I think it's bullshit that I have to go watch you on Anthony's show when you won't watch anything we've done for 30 years. Just saying.
Makes you feel better. I won't watch me on Anthony's show either.
Yeah, I know. But you already
I was
lived
there. I lived it. What do
Do
you
you like
want to
any
watch?
mentions?
What can I do for you? Yes, we talked about our break at Cayuga Speedway thanks to Brad Lichty and Gary Evans. Yeah,
Now I'm
so
going to have to
you
watch
did
it.
just to hear your name.
Yeah.
You're so
yeah.
vain.
Oh, you know what? Speaking of vain, we get down to Talladega. It's everywhere we go in the racing, somebody will come up to us. I thought I was getting through the weekend. Saturday in the restaurant, we're come back with hot dogs for the boys. And Spencer would have been proud. They had the best hot dogs for $2 down there. We were going to town. Gentleman says to me, "Excuse me, are you from Canada?" I said, "Yes, sir, I am." He said, "Are you Clinton Geoffrey?" I said, "Yes, sir, I am." And he said, "We watch all your stuff on G-Force and we appreciate what you do," which is super cool that we can be 16 hours away in Alabama at a race and we run into fans. Apparently related to Teddy McAllister, who is J.R. Fitzpatrick's cheer chief, and great couple. We took a couple pictures, and I appreciate you guys reaching out and saying hello. If you see us around, don't be shy. It actually makes our day. And on the shitty weeks when we're miserable and don't feel like doing it, that's probably the biggest thing that propels us to get back here on the air. Not just stroke our ego, but to let us know that we are making a bit of a difference. So we appreciate that, and it's always great when you come up and say hello.
It is. It really is. The fun thing, when we do a show, say an APC show where we do an intro and everything, it's all full energy and hype and smiles. And that's us doing what we're supposed to do. And then we come and do this show, and it's a little bit more subdued. There's, we don't really talk in our announcer voices, but it is a contrast.
Yeah, I get to look pissed off for an hour instead of having to put on my big smile for APC. Question: any chance that Lucas Oil super dirt late models or any super dirt car series at the Big O anytime. Okay, so modifieds, we can't. We've been trying to work with them. I mean, I've asked Short Track Super Series. The problem is they're worried they'd only get 18 or 20 to travel. Nobody wants a show that doesn't have a full field. They don't want to be embarrassed by those numbers. We don't want to be embarrassed by those numbers. That's the same thing we hear from High Limit. They're concerned about car count. Could they get a full field to travel across the border? And, of course, with them, if you book a race and not everybody comes, they drop off your points, and you've lost the hook you had in them to come to every race as far as points go. The Lucas Oil late models, we had late models, must have been 12 or 15 years ago last weekend. We had them, the World of Outlaw late models came up. Remember they did that swing? They did Brighton, they did Merrittville, they did us for a year or two there. We all took a swing at it. It could work, and you know what? The best thing we've got now going for us? Glenn Stiers has a badass open late model, a super late model for the dirt that maybe Glenn would like me to book one of. So it comes down to really a lot of those southern old timers. They don't have passports. They don't need to cross the border. They vacation in Mexico where their license gets them across the border. So those are things we have to do. It would take a long time, but I'm not opposed to it. Maybe we could work that out in the future.
Anything is possible.
For sure. Especially if you got the budget and want to take a swing at it. I don't know, man. Brockville had their weekend. Want to send a shout out to all the crates that went down there. We appreciate that too. I'm still trying to keep crate sprints strong. Derek says, imagine if we got both World of Outlaws and the sprint cars at the same time at Ush Weekend. Well, now. Yeah, the problem with that is the purse is so heavy for both. The tickets we'd have to sell you guys would have to be $95 to get in to make it worthwhile. Do you think everybody would pay $95? Which is, in the racing world, people would say, no freaking way would someone pay $95. Hell, I paid $300 to go to a concert. I paid $350 to go to a Bills game. You want to buy Jay's tickets in the past month or upcoming? Let's talk about that cost.
$1,600 is the cheapest ticket available for Friday night.
Yeah, that's if you can get it at the box office before it sells out.
Right. And it's sold
and you're
out.
Basically buying it now you're gonna have to buy it from a virtual scalper on StubHub or something for $4,000. The ticket you would have spent $1,200. You gonna chime in there, Spencer? Yeah, some of the lower levels are six figures now. Crazy money. All right, let's get out of here. Thanks everybody for hanging out with us on a Tuesday for our therapy session. It does us good, even if it doesn't seem like it. We get to hash out our feelings, and we're good about it.
We are. Don't forget, tomorrow night, Nikki gets the dirt.
Yeah, 8 p.m. right here on the channel. Good call. Micro Sprint Go-Kart Banquet this Thursday, so we'll have some pictures and clips from that next week here on the show as we honor the Ush Weekend Junior Racers. Thanks, everybody, for coming out. Thank you, Spencer, for all you do. We appreciate the hard work. We'll see you again next week, everybody.